Hold on, we're moving. Are we making a hammer? No, we're making a old school tobacco pipe. David, how's it going? Yeah, I know, Indiana's coming up quick. I guess this one is kind of a forward canted barrel shape with a hawkbill style stem on that. Um, it's designed after one that a guy at a brick and mortar showed me when I told him I was looking for inspiration. So I went ahead and went with it. I figured, okay, we'll give it a shot and see what happens. So the problem I was running into where I was trying to clean up my transition from stem to shank was, since this is wider, it was getting in the way in the sanding wheel. And we're getting pretty close. There's a little bit of step there on the shank, so I'm just going to finish it up by hand shaping it with a file and get that transition right. Hopefully everybody's had a great day today. I went to work, so that was good. Howdy, Jack Hacker. Thanks for joining us. Maybe I should try switching files. I do have a few other pipes laying here that I've been working on. Keep that one on the table. It's not got an overly large bowl on it, 19 millimeter, and it's only about that deep, so it's not a very deep bowl. It looks like it would have a deep bowl, but since the shank comes in so high up here, that shortens the depth of the bowl a lot. So we'll try to get this transition worked out real quick here. And here, I'll point you down so you can see what I'm doing instead of just seeing me carrying on. I'm rotating the pipe as I file around it, creating a lot of small facets. I don't know how well they'll show up, but you should see a lot of lines running this way, and each one of those lines is a different little facet. You can still see I got a little ways to go because of the color difference of the wood there. So we'll file down the stem and the shank both at the same time this way. That way it has a nice transition. Once I get to where that color change on the shank is gone, then we'll start rotating the stem in the shank. That way we end up with a nice transition regardless of the position of the stem. And I'm using the round part of the file. That way, if I use this, it would cause it to dig in on one side or the other possibly. So I like to use the round shape a lot to prevent that from digging in one little place and creating a hard line that I have to then turn around and try to notice and then get rid of. Alrighty, so now what I'll do is I'm going to give the stem probably like a quarter turn either direction. We'll go right. And I can feel it's just a little high on the stem here. The rest of it feels pretty good, but what I'll do is I'll work my way around again, getting that evened out on the transition. So even though these are pre-made stems, these flush mount stems still require a decent amount of work to get them to fit the pipe right. So just because they're pre-made stem doesn't mean all the work's done. So we'll just hit this a few times on the way around. Still spinning the pipe while I'm doing it. Pretty decent transition. Now I'm going to turn it another quarter turn. That's pretty close, but I still feel just a little difference there, so we're going to continue to work our way around, evening the two surfaces out. Sounds like the daughter came home. I heard a door slam. All right, that's pretty good. So now I'll give it another quarter turn. It was here. I'll give it a quarter turn to there. Yep, I can feel a little high spot here on the shank. So that probably means there's a low spot also, but we won't worry about it. We just know that it's not even. So we'll just continue to work our way around again. Now, pretty even. Now we're going to do one more quarter turn to the right. Now we're back where we started. And it is pretty close, but I'm just going to touch it up just to make sure. Not putting quite as much pressure. You saw earlier I had it down on my leg. That's when I was really kind of putting the pressure to it to eat the material off. Now, since there's not much that I need to correct, I'm just holding it in my hand where I don't put as much pressure on it, just to clean it up, because like I say, it was pretty close. That's like perfect. And there's going to be some more sanding to go on, so I can turn it around 180 degrees. Still got a nice feel to it. So we are pretty close there. So now you see how a pipe maker fits a stem to a shank at that joint. So it's got a nice smooth connection. That's something I would do if you're looking for a artisan pipe, is turn them around, see how it transfers right there. And that one seems to be pretty spot on right now. So now what I'll do is I'll use a chainsaw file with a round profile, and I'll just come in here and try to remove some of those facets again. Try to keep it moving. It may be hard to tell that I'm turning the pipe at the moment, but you can see it's making progress around. But I just make very small turns as I work my way around, and what that does is make smaller and smaller facets as I'm filing. And this file is not very aggressive, and again, I'm holding it in my hand, so I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it to take off a lot of material. So now it should, those facets almost have disappeared. There's obviously still some work to be done on it. Still, the markings are too coarse, so the sandpaper will have to start taking care of those and getting rid of those. So now I'm going to work on this transition here, go into the bowl. Try to get a nice radius going there. And the radius changes around it. You can see it's got a pretty decent radius here, and the radius is very small here on the top side. So it's not exactly the same radius all the way around. I didn't want it to lead in this radius here and then go this radius here. So I wanted to bring it up a lot tighter here, so just this forward radius to match this forward radius here kind of matches, and I didn't want to detract from it by having a sweep coming this way. So that's the reason I went in so hard there and to a sharper transition. Now we'll just work our way around the bowl a little bit, taking off some of the facets. The facets I put on with the sanding wheel a minute ago. So this will start working them down, getting them where they're smaller. But they're still there, and we will get rid of them a little bit at a time. First by files, then by sandpaper. Lean this back up and see what's going on in chat. Let's see. Jack Hacker says keep, please keep. No, my pipe's holding an entire 10. What? Hey, how's it going, Gary? Good to see you. You're gonna have to show me an example of that at the show, Dave. I'm not sure I entirely believe that. I've seen some of your pipes, and they definitely hold a good amount of tobacco. So Gary, it's not actually a poker, at least in my mind. I mean, somebody could consider it a poker, but it's got this kind of downward sweeping shank that kind of reminiscent of a hawkbill to me. Now granted, the pipe's not a hawkbill shape because hawkbills are a different bowl shape. This one's kind of a leaning forward barrel would be my take on it. It could be considered a Dublin, I suppose, or a poker. So I've seen some pokers that are kind of Dublin-esque. But yeah, I don't really have a good name for this. It's just when I went to the pipe shop the other day, I told one of the guys there, Matt, down at the Briar and the Burley, I said, hey Matt, I need some inspiration on making a pipe. I'm working on pipes right now. I want to do something different, but I need some inspiration. I could have looked in my Everson book or my pipe book, but instead I went down there. I also smoked a little while I was there, but This is the other one that he showed me. He said, I really like this shape and this shape. He thought they were interesting, so that's the two shapes that he showed me. So I had two blocks with me, did an outline of them both, and came home, and they're different than what the pipes were that he showed me, but they're a close representation of them, I would say. And I had these pre-made stems, this blue one and a black one here at home. And I knew I had the blue one. I was hoping I had another blue one or something similar to it, and I did have a black one, so I mated those up, and I'm in the process of shaping them up. This one I'm going to do some more sanding on, and even though it's got some imperfections in it, some debris that was grown inside the burl, I can probably show you real quick. There's 2, 4, 6, there's about 11 black dots on that one side of the shank, but I don't think I'm going to worry about it. I know we as pipe makers tend to spend a lot of time hiding little flaws one way or another, either sand past them or color the pipes so they blend in, or sandblast, or something along those lines, and I'm not going to do that one with this one. I think I'm going to go ahead and let Mother Nature show what she did. I mean, she played a hand in the briar for the pipe, so I think I'm going to leave those. They're not voids. They seem to be something in the wood that's there. I don't think they're going to come out. They're not detrimental to the smoking of the pipe, so I think I'm going to finish this one a real light color, so they're still going to show up. By suggestion of David and Chris. Both those guys said it ought to be a light color, so I could blast it and hide them probably, but I think I'm going to leave it smooth possibly. I've got enough pipes I need to blast this coming weekend, and here so you can kind of get a look at maybe some of the grain. Maybe that's too wet and too shiny. Let me dry it off a little. There's some cross grain, kind of fans out, coming from this side going that way. Got some bird's eye going on this side. Some tight bird's eye on this side. See what the bottom doesn't look like much. It looks like a mixture of cross grain and bird's eye both. Kind of weird. But yep, that's where we are on these two. And Matt came through for me. This is something that I haven't had on any of my tables up to this point, this style of pipe. So I think it's going to make for a little more interesting display, having something there that's different. I know I do a lot of my forward canted Danish style blowfish eggs. I do a lot of those. I really enjoy doing those, but I think you need to deviate and give people some options, so that's what we're going to do. I will have some of those though. Then I got some weird ones. I got this little Dublin here with this little kind of swollen shank, kind of flares out. Got an angled top on it with a sweep down the middle. Just experimenting. Here we go. Now we're getting into more of the blowfish looking little guy. He's got a little really fat tail on him. He'll get blasted. Looks like we got another Danish egg or tadpole, blowfish, whatever you want to call them. He's got a little tail with leaving a little bit of the plateau on his tail. He probably got nibbled on when he was swimming around in the pond. He's got some crazy grain on that one side. Hopefully it shows up in the blast. Oh yeah, that grain is cool looking. And maybe I need to do a partial blast on this guy. I think I'm going to, because that I got to figure out how I'm going to do it. But check out that grain. That is some cool grain going on that guy. I may have to leave that. If you come around to the other side, it gets kind of funky. Need to clean that up a little bit, looks like. Oh, that's a little flaw. So yeah, that side's going to get blasted. And then he's got this straight grain coming out the back of his tail. That's kind of unusual. What's happening, Luke? And then he's just got some bird's eye on the back side of his tail. But yeah, I'm really digging that. I couldn't ask for better on that. So yeah, this one's gonna have to be a special piece, I think. Got a lot of bird's eye going on up here behind there. Yeah, I don't know what I'll do there, but we're gonna have to blast part of that. I don't think we're doing it all. And I may not blast all his tail, because this straight lines coming off the back of his tail match the straight lines coming off the back of his tail here. So it may just be a blast including his body up here. Just part of the body. That's what I think is going to happen with that one to look cool. I mean, it's even got some cool grain out on the front. It wraps. There you go. So I may have to leave that. Some of that front grain too. Yeah, I don't know. I'll talk with Wayne Typin and see if he can give his opinion. About to fire up some McClellan 40th into the bot. Awesome. That McClellan 40th is some good stuff. I got a little bit of that. Yeah, that little guy there surprised me. That's the first time I put water to him. That is cool. So yeah, I'm just back working on these today, Luke. Still need to do some higher grit sanding on this one that you saw last night. This one you saw a glimpse of. I've done some of the shaping on it, knocking off some facets, and I need to just continue to sand here shortly. First I'm hitting it with a file, just knocking off some of the high points. Hopefully everybody's had a great day today. I guess what I do is I gotta figure out how you guys do the invite. That's YouTube, you do that. Let's see what I can do here. Send an invite link to a guest. I don't know how you do that exactly. I need to figure this stuff out some more. What's that? Whoa, that's not what we want. We don't want to play a game. Let's see what that button is. Choose a sticker, a poll, a countdown, a Q&A. Nope, we don't want to do that. Let's hit this drop down. There's some people. Green screen. Oh, we don't need to do green screen. You're more interested in seeing what's behind me than me. Oh no, it's still there. Get rid of the green screen. There we go. Chris, Walt, or the brothers would know more about that. Yep, that's for sure. Those guys are... Whoa, that muted. That's not what we're looking for. Got a video. Whoa, that's not what we want. Darn it. Cancel that. How do I get back to where I was? I may have messed up, guys. Turn that. Oh, there we go. Okay, I see a plus sign where I can copy a link and send invite to link to a guest. Copied. Okay, so now how do I send an invite? Let's see. Now I see that I can copy a link, but how do I invite somebody in? Open in DuckDuckGo, open in Chrome, add to quick note. Nope, don't know what that is. Safari, why would I want to send it in Safari? I'm in YouTube. Why would I not just send it in YouTube? Let's see. It doesn't give me that option. That's weird. Okay, I guess we won't worry about that. I'll have to figure that out in the future. Talk to one of these other guys that knows more about this stuff than me. Let's see if we do that. Add as a moderator. Put user in timeout. We don't want to do that to you, Luke. Interesting. Let's see, there's people. Thumbs up. Man, I'm gonna have to find out. I guess that's what I'll do before I try to do another live. I'll try to go on one of these things, searches, and figure out how to do that. That way you guys could have more of a conversation instead of just watching me while I'm just going to town here. You guys could talk about some other interesting stuff. Or ask questions or anything like that. Hey, Captain Burley Slice. Just the guy I want to see. Luke was just talking about you. How do I make this live joinable to somebody like you? I can go to the little person with the plus on it on my phone down at the bottom, and it says a link or send an invite link to a guest, but that's all it says. I don't know how to actually do it there. Is it easy enough to explain on here how to do that? StreamYard website seems to be the easiest way. StreamYard. Oh, okay. I thought you guys were sharing right within the YouTube app. I know when I see the link, all I gotta do is click on it. When I've joined your channel in the past, it can't be done from within YouTube. Okay. I wonder why they have that little person with the plus sign on it that says copy link and send invite. I wonder what that's about. Well, here's what we're working on, Dakota. This is kind of a cross between a forward canted bowl that's shaped poker-ish, barrel-ish, something a little wider in the front. Got this kind of hawkbill shaped shank on it. I went down to my local brick and mortar and asked one of the guys working there and said, hey, devil poker. I said, I need some inspiration. What can I make? So he pulled out a pipe that looked kind of similar to that, and then he also pulled out a pipe that looked kind of similar to this. So I came home. I had a couple blocks with me. I drew them up on the block while I was there and came home and started seeing what I could do, because I want to take something a little different to the Indiana show that I haven't done. Thanks, Dakota. Appreciate it. I wanted to have something just a little different for people to see, and that way they realize I'm not a one pony show. I guess one could say, or a one hobbit show. Although Chris has been slacking, I need to get my other hobbit working. But he's really never made pipes other than his own personal pipes. But he usually checks out stuff for me and gives his opinion. But now that he's married, life is busy. I get it. I'm not mad at him. But it wouldn't hurt to have a little extra help there in the shop, especially with Indiana coming up. I also have some other little blowfish deal here with a really fat tail on him. Cross grain. Whoa, about dropped her. I got this little Dublin-ish looking thing here, kind of a fat chubby Dublin with a flared out shank. And then this one here is going to be partially blasted Dakota. I didn't realize it, so I was just spraying it down a minute ago, but it was only going to be a partial blast. I thought I was doing a whole blast on this one. But the grain in this one has just come out stellar. It wraps around the front some, so somewhere in the middle or off to this side, it's going to get blasted on this side because it's got a little flaw here. So come around by the tail, wrap up. Part of this side's going to get blasted. It's got some bird's eye on the back here. Leave it for show. Got some bird's eye here. Must have gotten a fight with another little fish or something. Got munched on. But yeah, the way that grain came out on that, I just thought that was pretty cool. So we're going to try to save that grain. But that's what we're doing right now, is got those in the background and working on this. Thank you. Yeah, I thought that grain really was killing it, like you're saying. And to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I lined everything up perfect. What I'm going to tell you is God had the moons and the stars aligned for me on that one. Because I did not go into drilling that pipe, looking at the grain. I've been, a lot of my Emberlings, they're not meant to be high-end pipes, so they're not so much about grain orientation and killing the ring grain or having straight grain on them. They're just about showing what the block has to offer at the moment. It's not about maximizing the blocks, because typically the Emberlings, the blocks they're just what they are. They're not perfectly cut. But try to make them a perfect smoker at an affordable price. And that's kind of what the Emberlings are meant to be. But when you get an Emberling like that just falls into your lap, where the grain is just killing it, you can't ignore it. I have made some Emberlings looking at the grain intentionally, but not always. Usually if I'm doing that, it's because I got a plateau block or something. I mean, if I got a plateau block, here for example, this one's so rough sawn, it's hard to see. Grain's not popping. It's showing up somewhat. But something like this, where you got plateau, you know you got all your straight grain or your fanned out grain going up here to the plateau, then yeah, you're shooting for something special in a pipe or in a block like that. But when you got a block like this, those blocks will probably become handmade pipes, because the grain's there to try to maximize. But then also you get blocks like this, which obviously are a little more affordable, but the grain's not there. I mean, there's grain. It's just nothing spectacular. I mean, there's some weird stuff going on. You got some weird lines coming through here. You got some bird's eye speckled throughout. So whenever they cut this block, they weren't maximizing grain. So it's hard to maximize a pipe out of a block that wasn't maximized when they cut the block. So that's why some of them aren't going to make high-end pipes, but that's not the goal of the Emberling. The goal is to put out a more affordable pipe that will smoke as good as one of the handmade pipes. I want everybody to have a great experience when they're smoking a Grunewald pipe, regardless of the price of it. I mean, if you can't enjoy the quality of the smoke, why bother, right? I mean, that's why we're doing a lot of this smoking of the pipes, is to sit back and relax and to just enjoy it. So there's no sense putting out pipes that aren't going to smoke well. So we do everything we can to make sure we get a good smoking pipe. That's above all else. Trying to work on the transition. This was taught to me by Jeff Allen Graysick in a pipe making seminar. I would highly suggest any of you guys enjoy pipes, like the idea of making your own pipe, even if you don't want to make pipes as a hobby or for a living. If you just want to have a better understanding of the pipes, and if nothing else, hangout time with Jeff Graysick and Jared Coles and just all the guys up there that Alex Florov's in the room typically. I mean, just to spend 16 hours with those guys hanging out, kind of getting a little more insight into them as people, developing relationships. I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's a trick. You take both sides of it and you kind of pinch it up here with your thumb on one of your upper fingers, and it's wrapped tight around that way you can get into this groove right here and work on that transition to the bowl. Have an interview tomorrow. Send some prayers my way if you don't care. I'll be 1.5 hours closer to Muletown. What kind of interview you going for, Lukester? Are you getting out of the field you're in, or just switching companies, staying with the same type of job? And heck, we'll do it right now, Luke. No sense putting off later what we can do right now. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you at this time just praying that you'll be with Luke and help guide him tomorrow, and be with him through his interview, and pray that things go his way as far as the interview and things go well, and that he'll get a job offer that he's looking for, and pray that everything just works out well in this situation for Luke. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. There you go, Luke. You got it. That way you heard it yourself. It ain't a matter of going, well, they said they would. We did it. I forget where it was. Somebody that I talked to made that comment. I know a lot of you guys are believers in the pipe community, and that was something somebody said, I have to be honest, I'm not the best about it, but maybe it's time to change that. If somebody asks you for prayer, take care of it. Don't just tell them, yeah, I got you. I mean, granted, Dakota obviously and the rest of you, you're in the stream, but you're not where you can actually vocalize that. So I get saying you'll take care of it. I got that. That's perfectly fine. I'm not trying to say it's not, but if you're in person with somebody, or you have the ability to actually do that for them right then, take that opportunity. That way they're there and they can get the blessing of having that right then. Oh, cool. Continuous improvement manager. Nice. Man, that got me all hot in here. Whew. I need to turn the air down now. Muletown is going to be lit. With Sazerac, huh? Yeah, I can't remember. I think me and Chris got a bargain on our pipe making seminar when we went. I think it was only $150. And you get to keep a pipe too from the pipe show, obviously. When you help make one, Jeff or Jared or Al or Alex Florov or one of those guys actually assist you in making, I mean, where are you going to get a pipe like that? I'll tell you where. The seminar, man. It is a blast. I think it's up to $180, somewhere in that range. I mean, yeah, a pipe. You can spend that on a pipe without the experience. And here you get the experience too. It was a blast. They've only got the 101 and the 201 class. Me and Chris have taken them both. If they had a 301, I'd take that too. I can't go back and keep taking the 201 just to hang out with them, though, as much as I'd love to. I don't want to take that spot away from anybody. That opportunity to go in and learn more from the masters. Definitely something to remember. And did it with Chris. Got to build a memory with my son. With those guys helping. That was fun. I would strongly suggest if you guys have interest in it, consider saving up your pennies and your nickels and doing it. I'm not a rich man. Kind of like Forrest Gump. I'm not a smart man. I'm not a rich man, but sometimes the experience is worth a little bit of saving. Now, granted, you got the cost of the hotel for those couple extra nights up there, which aren't cheap, but hey, hook up with somebody else, stay in their room, cut that price down in half. Or 3 of you stay in a room together, cut it down even farther. It's not that big a deal to sleep in the same room with somebody else, especially another brother of the pipe community. As long as it ain't somebody like Jay Furman. I don't know about Jay. He's a little different. No, I'm just pulling your guys' leg. Jay's fun to pick on. He never watched my live anyhow. He won't even know I'm making fun of him. Alrighty. So that transition's starting to come in. There's still a little nick here from my previous sanding that I need to work on to get out. But I'll show you another little trick of getting rid of the facets that you create. Hopefully my battery doesn't die. I'm not sure what my battery life is on my phone currently, so if it dies, I didn't mean to cut you off. But what I'll do is I'll show you this another little trick. If I've showed you any, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I haven't showed you any tricks. But I'll show you this little trick. Wonder if bet we can use sandpaper. We'll take a little bit of sandpaper here. Reamer, guys. Nothing fancy, just a reamer. What I'm going to do is, I made that too big. Just rip off a piece of sandpaper. You can also use some thin leather also. Curl it up inside here. Insert your reamer down in the bowl. Tighten the reamer. And the reason I'm doing this, and this may or may not work since it's sandpaper, I can't recall. But I know if you use a little strip of leather, but this is only a 19mm hole, pretty close to the size of the reamer. It's kind of snug with this in there. So we're going to try the sandpaper. And what this will do is this will keep the reamer from loosening up. And then what we'll do is, I've got this little vise down here. What we'll do is we'll chuck up the reamer. Let's see, try to figure out an angle that we want. And I can pivot it just a little here. There we go. Let me get some more 150 grit real quick. Step away for a second. Wow. When I said little, I wasn't thinking that little. A 5-inch piece is all that was left on that roll. So here you go. By doing this, you're getting rid of all the high spots and keeping a radius on your pipe. So you're not creating more flats or more facets. In the pipe making world, they call them facets, and what they are, it's kind of like if you're looking at a stop sign and you have all the flats that are cut all the way around it. It's kind of an over exaggeration of what happens when you're shaping on the wheel, is you create all those flats. So by doing this, you can knock off all those high spots and keep your radius. So if you were to do this on a stop sign in a bigger scale with a rougher sandpaper and knock those corners off, you could shape down to the circle without screwing the circle up, but yet you get rid of all the points. Same idea is what's going on here. So yeah, we'll start with some 150. And this really helps with a radius, guys. I just can't speak highly enough about this little method, and we slipped off. So the sandpaper's not working as well as the leather does. But this is another one of those features that they're going to teach you in that, or tricks that they're going to teach you in the 101 class even. You don't even have to move on to the 201 class to learn something like this. There's a lot of little tricks you can pick up there. And I've learned that these little tricks aren't just in pipe making. When you're working on something around the house, or even my job as an engineering technician, sometimes I'm cleaning stuff up on a sander. It's really improved my technique. Even when I'm sanding metal at work, my shapes come out a lot truer looking. They're not all wonky. And it's not just this, but I mean, pipe making in general is assisted in that. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this radius here, and I could do this with my file also. lay my file in there, create a radius, and then I can work on this. That little divot I had there, I couldn't get rid of with my pinky. With this radius being smaller, I can get in there better and clean that up. And I can drag it across the bigger radius so I don't change it. I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching. Now granted, I'm probably putting some more facets on, but I gotta get rid of that little nick that's right there above the transition from the shank to the bowl. So as soon as I do that, then I'll wrap it again in order to get rid of all these little facets I'm creating. This one's probably going to be a blast pipe, I think. It doesn't really have any flaws. It's just, I don't know that the grain really is going to do much for us. Like that little blowfish I showed you. Nothing spectacular jumping out. Whereas it seems to me, sandblasting really brings out a lot of character in pipes. And that's kind of crazy because originally, when I started making pipes, I wanted to make all smooth pipes. Of course, Mother Nature's not going to let you do that. But what I found out is I really like the sandblasted pipe, the texture and everything in one, and how it showcases the grain. Even if the grain's not stellar, it just shows you the difference of the grain better, I think. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Well, thank you, Dakota. I'm glad I can give you something you feel is good information to have. But I don't take any credit for it. Like I say, this information's been handed down to me from other pipe makers, either in the pipe making seminar. That's where most of this information's coming from that I'm sharing with you today. And might come in useful at some point to you. Hopefully at the next pipe making seminar and you're in it. Hopefully it'll come to you then. Now the thing about this is you want to keep going at it at different angles. You don't want to like sit here and just do this one motion, because then you'll chew down through it and make a line. So you got to kind of change it up and go different directions when you're doing this. Like you can't, even though this is here, you just can't focus here because it'll just misshape everything. So you got to kind of work your way around it, even though it's not the easiest thing to do. You got to kind of keep that in mind and move in different directions. That way it knocks off the facets without misshaping anything. Whoa, what happened there? Something came loose. Oh, got to turn it over the right way if it's going to work. Alrighty, hang this up. I think that little nick that I had in the bottom cleared up. Now, I'm going to work on the bottom of the pipe because it got hit with the shaping wheel on a high grit or a low grit, like 36 grit. So I'm going to clean that up real quick just by laying this here. I'm just dragging it across here. Definitely a sitter. If this doesn't sit, I got real problems. Clean up the radius on the bottom a little bit. There we go. That looks better. Now we're going to switch it up. That's 150 grit. I'll get started on dinner. I'm going to leave the stream. We'll be away from the keyboard. Cool. Not sure how much longer I'll be on, but we're here at the moment. We'll yell real loud if we need you. Oh, you guys are killing me. Let's see, we got some 240 here, so we'll hit it with some 240. And all you're doing is trying to remove the bigger scratches. Every time, you guys probably know this, but there might be somebody out there that doesn't. So sorry if it's something you already know. You only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. So I'm going to share the information, and if anybody doesn't know, well, they will know after hearing it. All you're doing is every time you change grits of paper is trying to get rid of the bigger sanding marks that you created with the last grit. So the other was 150 grit, left some marks. We moved to 240. It's a finer sandpaper. This will remove the 150 marks, but it'll leave new marks that are equivalent of the 240 sandpaper. There will still be scratches. They just won't be as noticeable. So that's all you're doing with sandpaper, is you're constantly going up in grits just to get rid of the heavier scratches. Feels pretty smooth, but there's still some scratches over on this side I can see. May not have got rid of them with the 150 grit. Those may be 36 grit scratches. But we can continue to work on with the 240, and it'll just take a hair longer to get to them, get rid of them. Yeah, I think we're going to go back to 150. We're not going to waste a bunch of time chasing. We'll just knock it down and get back to it. I think they're gone. We're going to hit them just a hair more just to be sure, so we don't have to come back to this again like I already did once. Alrighty, that's the 150, back to the 240. Alrighty. Oh, there we go. Scratch is gone, at least to 240. Now we'll switch it up. Let's see, we didn't do the whole pipe in 240. Maybe we should do the whole pipe. And then we'll come back to the bottom. Or maybe I should focus on the bottom because I don't wrap it for that. So that's what we'll do. That's 400, 600. I know I had 320 around here somewhere. There it is, hiding over there. So we'll take the bottom up here real quick. Doesn't take long to go over a flat space like that and move up a grit. Yeah, I can feel it getting smoother. What we're going for. There we go. Now let's see some 400. That's 600, 240. knock some dust out of it. That's something else I noticed. If you ever watch Simon, I know some of you guys watch Simon, you see he's got some holes on his shirts. What causes that is he'll take this and do that, or typically you'll see him sanding and he'll do this against his shirt. So that's why he's ripping holes in his shirt. But the reason for that is that lifts so much of the dust out of it. Like that one there, hitting it helps, but doing that, look how much cleaner that is. That just pulls, your clothes just lift all that stinking gunk, all the dust out of these, so you can use them for a much longer period of time. Something very useful to know if you're doing a lot of sanding on wood. I can remember sanding wood in high school for wood shop, and nobody educated us to that. But maybe we weren't using the decent emery cloth back then. Maybe we were just using those 12 by 12 or 8 by 12 sheets of sandpaper that really wasn't that good. So they didn't really care that you just used them for a short period of time and threw them away because they were kind of wore out. Whereas this stuff, it just loads up with the dust and then doesn't work. It's not that the sandpaper quits working because it's bad, it's just loaded up. So you can see here where I'm doing this, loading up. We'll hit around the edge real quick with this, and then we'll clean it off. All right, so there you see it. I can hit it here. That helps some. Hit it there. Almost like new. Not quite, but you can get a lot of extra life out of a sandpaper when you do that. Now I think what we'll do is we'll chuck it up by the shank. And it's obvious I didn't hit this with 240. Didn't take me long to figure that out. That's 400, that's 320. I need to be more organized with this stuff. Here's some 240 that's filthy. Still not perfect, but a lot better. Now we can get back to work on taking the scratches out. Remember what I told you, don't go the same direction all the time, so we're going to switch it up a little here. Now we'll rotate this dude. And making some headway now. This vise really helps to hold your piece in place too, where you can get better pressure when you're working the sandpaper across the surface. Let's see, on the back side of the bowl. And then we'll do the shank with the 240. And since we're blasting, we may hold up after that for a little bit. See what else we can work on. Oh, that little dude tried to move on me. It's got rubber jaws on this vise so it doesn't scar the wood. And we're getting rid of all those little facets that we left earlier from the filing. Is the goal here. Removing scratches and removing facets. Let's see, crank this open. Let's see if we can grip it this way. Oh yeah. Yeah, this little vise was about $100 off of Amazon, I think. Artie Master is the name of it, and it seems to work pretty well. Yeah, it's got a little bit of shape to it, but other than that, it works fairly decent. Alright, we'll flip her over the other way. Looks like we need to top the bowl a little bit too. It looks a little rough. Probably still at 36 grit. I haven't really done anything with it yet. Alrighty. Oh yeah, you can see the swipe marks in it. You can see the lines. So we'll knock that off. And then, that may be the end of the show for this evening. After I do this, the wife's probably made me supper also. Although I haven't seen the text yet, but maybe I missed it. Still a few 36 grit mark in there. So we'll continue to hit it with 150. Yeah, still some in there. We're getting there though. Getting close.